Namaskar, good evening. You're watching Breaking Ground and I am Swati Joshi. The last day of campaign for phase 2 in West Bengal, and anytime now the campaign is going to end for all the political parties as the silence period begins. Ahead of that, the Prime Minister has issued a message, an audio message for the voters of West Bengal. The Prime Minister in this audio message says, and I quote, "Ma Kali filled me up with energy during the campaign in Bengal. The youth, women and farmers of Bengal are impatient and they need development now." That's the Prime Minister's message. Let's listen in.
পশ্চিমবঙ্গের আমার সকল প্রিয় ভাই এবং বোনেরা, আপনাদের সকলকে আমার নমস্কার জানাই। গণতন্ত্রের প্রত্যেকটি উৎসব অত্যন্ত পবিত্র হয়ে থাকে। আমারও বাংলার এই উৎসবে অংশ নেওয়ার সুযোগ হয়েছে। বিগত কিছুদিন ধরে আমাকে আপনাদের সকলের সামনে বেঙ্গলের উন্নয়নের বিষয়ে
So that's the audio message of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the voters of West Bengal just ahead of second phase of polling, which will happen on the 29th. The one that you heard was in Bengali. There's another version, a Hindi version as well. Let's listen in.
बहुत पवित्र होता है। मुझे भी बंगाल के इस उत्सव में हिस्सा लेने का अवसर मिला है। बीते दिनों मुझे आप सभी के सामने बंगाल के विकास को लेकर, बंगाल के उज्जवल भविष्य को लेकर, बंगाल की युवा पीढ़ी के उज्जवल भविष्य के लेकर बीजेपी का जो रोडमैप है, उस रोडमैप को रेखांकित करने का, आप सब के सामने प्रस्तुत करने का अवसर मिला। आज शाम 5 बजे चुनाव प्रचार खत्म हो रहा है। इस चुनाव की मेरी आखिरी रैली भी अभी अभी हो चुकी है। मैं अब इस पत्र के माध्यम से बंगाल के अपने हर परिवारजन को आभार तो व्यक्त करना ही चाहता ही हूं, लेकिन अपनी भावनाएं भी व्यक्त कर रहा हूं। साथियों, इस चुनाव के दौरान मैंने बंगाल में एक अलग ही ऊर्जा की अनुभूति की है। इतनी गर्मी के बावजूद, इतनी रैलियों के बाद भी मुझे बंगाल के इस चुनाव अभियान में जरा भी थकान महसूस नहीं हुई। ये रैलियां, ये रोड शो मैं अनुभव करता था जैसे मेरी एक तीर्थ यात्रा हो रही है। मैं मां काली के भक्तों के बीच जाता था तो संभवतः मां काली भी मुझे निरंतर नई ऊर्जा से भरती जा रही थी। जब जनवरी 2024 में अयोध्या में रामलला की प्राण प्रतिष्ठा का आयोजन हुआ था, उससे पहले मैंने श्रद्धापूर्वक 11 दिनों का अनुष्ठान किया था, व्रत किया था। मुझे अनुभव होता है कि उस समय प्रभु श्री राम ने मुझे असीम ऊर्जा से भर दिया था। इस चुनाव में भी मुझे वही अनुभूति हुई जैसी किसी देवी देवता के मंदिर में दर्शन के समय होती है। ईश्वर रूपी जनता जनार्दन के दर्शन से मुझ में नव ऊर्जा का संचार हुआ है। साथियों, बंगाल की सभी रैलियों में, रोड शो में मुझे इतने अपनत्व भरे संदेश और चित्र मिले हैं कि मैं उन्हें कभी भुला नहीं सकता। रैलियां और रोड शो के बाद जब भी पहला मौका मिलता है, मैं रात में बहुत तसल्ली से उन चित्रों को देखता हूं। आपके प्यार भरे संदेशों को, आपके पत्रों को पढ़ता हूं और अपना जवाब भी लिखवाता हूं। युवा हो, बहनें हो, बेटियां हो, बुजुर्ग हो, हर आयु वर्ग के साथियों, आप में जो स्नेह का जो भाव प्रकट होता है, जिसे मैं देखता हूं, अनुभव करता हूं, मैं आज कहना चाहता हूं, ये आपका प्यार, ये आपके आशीर्वाद मेरे जीवन की असली पूंजी है। साथियों, इस चुनाव के दौरान मैंने ये भी देखा कि बंगाल के युवा हो, महिलाएं हो, किसान हो, श्रमिक हो, सभी बंगाल के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए, विकसित बंगाल के लिए कितने अधीर है, कितने आतुर है। बंगाल का युवा अब आगे बढ़ने के लिए खुला मैदान चाहता है। हमारी बंगाल की बेटियां खुला आसमान चाहती हैं, सुरक्षा चाहती हैं। बंगाल का हर नागरिक, हर परिवार एक ही संकल्प के साथ आगे बढ़ रहा है और वो संकल्प है अब परिवर्तन करके ही रहना है। परिवर्तन ये जन जन का संकल्प बन गया है। सामान्य मानवी कह रहा है, भय बहुत हुआ, अब भय नहीं, अब भरोसा चाहिए, अब भाजपा चाहिए। साथियों, बंगाल की सेवा करना, बंगाल को सुरक्षित करना, ये मेरा दायित्व है। बंगाल के सामने उपस्थित हुई हर चुनौती को अवसर में बदलना, ये मेरे भाग्य में भी है और मेरी जिम्मेदारी भी है। मैं अपनी इस जिम्मेदारी से पीछे नहीं हटूंगा। मैं आपको भरोसा देता हूं कि बंगाल में बीजेपी के मुख्यमंत्री के शपथ ग्रहण का उत्सव हम सभी मिलकर मनाएंगे। ये मेरा व्यक्तिगत विश्वास नहीं है, मैंने आपके भीतर इस विश्वास को अनुभव किया है। मेरे प्यारे भाई बहनों, प्रथम चरण के मतदान ने इतिहास रचा है। अब आपका दायित्व है कि 29 अप्रैल को ज्यादा से ज्यादा मतदान करें। लोकतंत्र के इस मंदिर में विजय की ध्वज फहराने का आपके पास बेहतरीन अवसर आया है। हम सभी मिलकर बंगाल को विकसित बनाएंगे और ये मोदी की गारंटी है। बस आज इतना ही।
So just before the campaign ends, Prime Minister Narendra Modi releases an audio message to the voters of West Bengal. My colleagues are joining me on the broadcast. We have Rajesh joining us from Kolkata. Ritita also will be joining us from Kolkata. Shivam from Bhabanipur and Abhishek from Bhabanipur as well. I want to first go across to Rajesh. Rajesh, this is the last hour and just before it ends, Prime Minister issuing an audio message where the Prime Minister says Badlav and he says Bhay Mukt. Those are the key words that he has used during the campaigning throughout West Bengal.
Yes, the special audio message of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already reached each and every corner of West Bengal just ahead of the second phase of election. And the audio version of his audio message is very much significant because BJP is trying to connect with the Bengali soul since TMC has been always alleging that BJP is the outsider party. They have no connection with the Bengalis. They have no emotions for the Bengalis. That was an old allegation of Trinamool Congress against against Bharatiya Janata Party. Since then, BJP is trying to connect its party with the Bengali soul. We have seen Prime Minister Narendra Modi is speaking in Bengali in each and every public rally in West Bengal. Whenever he was starting his speech, he used a few sentences in Bengali to connect with the people. So this Bengali version of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's audio message will also help the BJP party to connect to those people who are residing in rural area, the rural people, the rural vote bank, where there is a huge number of people who doesn't understand Bengali, Hindi and English.
Yes.
And TMC has been using this particular allegation that all the non-Bengali speaking, the Hindi speaking
Absolutely.
people are coming from outside for the campaign of BJP.
Right.
So they have no connection to the Bengali.
Charge of the TMC, the outsider charge of the TMC. The attempt throughout the campaigning by the Bharatiya Janata Party was to blunt that charge. Rajesh, stay on with us. Before I go across to our other colleagues, in less than 48 hours, the heart of the state heads to the booths for phase 2. From the streets of Kolkata to the industrial belts of Barakpur, the big guns are out. We've seen Mamata Banerjee's relentless Padayatras, Prime Minister Modi's high decibel strike in Barakpur, and Amit Shah painting Kolkata saffron. It's a do-or-die sprint for the TMC and the BJP. And this is the final push. Let's tell you about why this battle is important for both sides. First up, let's first talk about the seats that are going to polls as far as phase 2 is concerned in the state of West Bengal. So total number of seats that are in the fray are 142. Now take a look at what happened in 2021. TMC got 123. So the larger share of this went to the TMC. ISF got 1. As far as the BJP is concerned, the Saffron Party got 18 seats of the 142 that we are talking about. So this was the scenario in 2021. Now let's take a look at where all these seats are spread across the districts. Kolkata South, Kolkata North, North 24 Parganas, South 24 Parganas, Purb, Bardhaman, Howrah, Hooghly, and Nadia. So as far as the phase 2 is concerned, most of these seats are spread across districts that are in South Bengal. And this is where the situation stands in terms of 2021 elections. Let me go back to our colleagues. Let's go across to Shivam. Shivam, the message that is coming in from the Prime Minister in the last hour is that of Bengali identity and how it will be protected when the BJP comes to power.
Exactly, Swati, and there is a reason because, again, as you rightly mentioned, from the very beginning, Trinamool Congress has portrayed Bharatiya Janata Party as a party of outsider. They have said that if Bharatiya Janata Party comes to power, Bengali identity is something that will be dented to a larger extent. And after that, we have seen Amit Shah clarifying that the Chief Minister, after BJP comes to the power, will be someone who has been studied in Bengali medium, he or she will be from a Bengali background and will be living in Bengal as well. Apart from that, we have seen how, from be eating Jhal Mudi to Rui Post to Anurag Thakur, Bharatiya Janata Party has understood that the sentiment of a Bengali is bigger than any other caste equation, class equation in the state of West Bengal, and that is why they have tried to portray, that's why they have tried to build a narrative that it will be under the Bharatiya Janata Party where the Bengali identity will not be appreciated but also will be taken to the global level, will also be given more platforms, be it the theatre that has lost or be it the street art that is slowly losing its color in Bengal according to the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Of course. Now this is about campaigning. But let's take a look at what happened during the last elections. We're talking about 142 seats. And now let's take a look at what transpired. As far as Kolkata South is concerned, there are 4 seats in Kolkata South. All of them went to the TMC in the 2021 assembly polls. Let's take a look at the other figures and districts. Kolkata North, all the 7 seats went to TMC. So as far as Kolkata is concerned, all the 11 seats in Kolkata went to TMC in the 2021 elections and before that as well. Now let's talk about North 24 Parganas. There are 33 seats here, of which 28 went to the TMC in 2021 and 5 seats to the Bharatiya Janata Party. As far as South 24 Parganas is concerned, another significant area district where there are 31 seats, and of the 31 seats, 30 seats went to TMC and the BJP could not win even a single seat there. Howrah has 16 seats. Once again, all the 16 seats went to the TMC. BJP got nothing. in Howrah, and the BJP, of course, is attempting to change this scenario in this election. Hooghly, 18 seats, 14 went to the TMC, and BJP got just 4 seats in the Hooghly area. So what this tells you is that this particular phase on the seats that we are looking at is a TMC bastion, the stronghold of the TMC. Nadia has 17 seats, 8 went to the TMC. Here the BJP did manage to outperform the TMC by winning 9 seats in Nadia of the 17 seats that are in this particular district. Then let's talk about Purva Bardhaman, 16 seats, once again, TMC stronghold. Of the 16 seats, 15 went to the TMC and 1 seat to the Bharatiya Janata Party. Meanwhile, in a post, Mamata Banerjee has invoked Ma Mati Manush as Bengal heads for phase 2 polls. She said she has received tremendous love and support during her Padyatras and Janasabhas, and it is only a matter of time before TMC comes to power. Taking an indirect hit on BJP, she said the divisive forces in Bengal will be given befitting reply by the voters of Bengal. So this is what Mamata Banerjee has said. Let's break down the details for you. Now remember, Prime Minister took this jibe at Mamata Banerjee and said कि माँ माटी मानुष का नारा टीएमसी ने दिया था, लेकिन वो भूल गए इस पूरे कैंपेन में. They have not spoken, uttered even once this slogan of Ma Mati Manush. But here's Mamata Banerjee once again invoking Ma Mati Manush. This is what she said: warmth at Janasabhas has moved me deeply. Victory of Ma Mati Manush is a matter of time. Bengal has no place for divisive forces. A firm response awaits divisive forces in the state of West Bengal. This is what Mamata Banerjee said about the Janasabhas, about the rallies, and once again in voting Ma Mati Manush. Let me go across to Abhishek now. Abhishek, as far as the Ma Mati Manush slogan is concerned, the Prime Minister has hit out at the TMC saying that they've forgotten about this. वो भूल गए, नारा देकर खुद इस बारे में भूल गए. But Mamata Banerjee here once again invoking that, and she is talking about the support that she is getting on ground.
देखिए बिल्कुल ये लड़ाई सीधी तौर पर बीजेपी और टीएमसी के बीच में है। पहले चरण के चुनाव को लेकर बीजेपी ने एक नैरेटिव करने की कोशिश की थी। बीजेपी लगातार ये कोशिश कर रही थी। पिछली बार भी अगर आपको याद हो तो पिछली बार जो 152 सीटों पे चुनाव हुए थे, बीजेपी ने बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म किया था, 59 सीटें जीती थी। उसको पता था कि सेकेंड फेज काफी मुश्किल होने वाला है। इस 142 सीट में जो कि जिसपे चुनाव होने वाला है परसों, आप समझिए 111 सीट ऐसी है जहां पर टीएमसी जब से वो जन्म लिए तब से चुनाव नहीं हारी। आप सोचिए कितना इंटरेस्टिंग ये फैक्टर है। नदिया जहां पे आप बात कर रही थी कि नदिया में बीजेपी ने हालांकि अच्छा परफॉर्म किया था, वहां पे मथुआ वोटर्स काफी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाते हैं। कृष्णा नगर हो, राणा घाट हो, प्रधानमंत्री की आपको याद हो तो प्रधानमंत्री ने राणा घाट से अपने रैली की शुरुआत की थी और वहां पर प्रधानमंत्री ने मथुआ को लेकर बहुत सारी बातें कही गई थी। तो समीकरण पश्चिम बंगाल में पिछले 1 साल में काफी ज्यादा चेंज हुए हैं। एसआईआर ने एक बहुत बड़ा रोल अदा किया है। और अब देखिए ये पीछे मेरे आप देखेंगे तो ये ममता बनर्जी की जो पदयात्रा है वो आपको यहाँ पर नजर आएगी। देखिए भीड़ आ रही है, संख्या ज्यादा है। अभी इससे पहले शुभेंदु अधिकारी यहां से निकले हैं। तो ऐसे में लगातार दोनों पार्टियां, चाहे हम बीजेपी की बात करें, टीएमसी की बात करें, दोनों पार्टियां आपस में कोशिश कर रही हैं एक तरीके से अपना जो जोर आजमाइश है उसका देखा जा रहा है कि वो लगातार कोशिश कर रही है धीरे धीरे करके अपने जनता जो है, वोटर्स जो हैं, उन तक अपनी बात पहुंचाने के लिए। लेकिन ये कितना टर्नआउट होता है, कितना ज्यादा लोगों को ये बात समझ में आती है और किस तरीके से जनता इस पर रिएक्ट करती है, ये तो 4 मई को पता चलेगा।
बिल्कुल, हमने भारी भीड़ प्रधानमंत्री की रैलियों में और पदयात्राओं में भी देखी है, और वही ममता बनर्जी के साथ भी उनकी जनसभाओं में भी. बट यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट. विल दैट ट्रांसलेट इनटू वोट्स एंड फॉर whom? That remains to be seen. Abhishek, stay on with us. Before I go across to Ridhita, let's take a look at how this has also led to cracks within the INDA, which is only deepening. Ahead of final day of Bengal Phase 2 campaign, political temperature has soared in Bengal. LOP Rahul Gandhi has slammed INDI bloc allies, including Aam Aadmi Party National Convener Arvind Kejriwal, calling him corrupt just a day after he attacked Mamata Banerjee for working together with Prime Minister Modi. Meanwhile, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju has mocked INDI bloc, calling it nothing but a fraud. Let's also listen into what Rahul Gandhi said about his ally and AAP National Convener Arvind Kejriwal.
उन्होंने एक नए तरीके की राजनीति की बात की थी. खंबे पर चढ़ गए थे, याद है आपको? मैं राजनीति दूसरे तरीके से करूंगा, खंबे पे चढ़ गए थे, स्वेटर पहना था, वैगनार में आए और सीधे शीश महल के पार्किंग लॉट में चले गए. करोड़ों रुपए का घर, भ्रष्टाचार, पोल्यूशन, जो शीला जी ने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाया था, सड़कें बनाई थी, पुल बनाए थे, फ्लाईओवर बनाए थे, विकास का काम किया था, उस सब को इन्होंने खत्म कर दिया है।
And we have some breaking inputs coming in. RJD working president Tejashwi Yadav is on ground campaigning with Mamata Banerjee in Bengal. So while Rahul Gandhi is hitting out at Mamata Banerjee, Tejashwi Yadav is offering support and he is on ground with Mamata Banerjee in Bengal campaigning for Mamata Banerjee. This is interesting. These are all constituents of the INDI bloc. Let's go across to Ridhita now. Ridhita, I see that you are part of a Padyatra or a Janasabha. But, as far as the campaigning there is concerned, it's interesting. Rahul Gandhi taking jibes at Mamata Banerjee, RJD and Samajwadi Party offering their support. I believe Tejashwi Yadav is there on ground with Mamata Banerjee.
Well, absolutely. The road that I'm passing through is the Bhawanipur area, and this is the strategic area where, on one side, we are seeing the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is contesting, and on the other side, we see the leader of opposition, Bindu Adhikari, contesting. And exactly from the strategic location, Tejashwi Yadav, the RJD working president, has joined Mamata Banerjee on her Padyatra, which is 14 kilometers long. And now, if my video shows you the visuals of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee walking road, the Padyatra with Tejashwi Yadav in her campaigning. Remember, for Trinamool Congress, the star campaigners this time is Akhilesh Yadav, is a lot of other leaders from the India Alliance like Tejashwi Yadav, like Akhilesh, and a lot more that we are talking about. However, we see a weakness of the Congress in Bengal when it comes to Rahul Gandhi. He has taken a jibe on the Trinamool Congress, but there is a strong withhold of all the other India Alliance partners in Bengal. At the time when we see that Mamata Banerjee is walking a roadshow, you can see in both the sides of the road, people are beating drums in huge numbers. People have gathered. It is not only Tejashwi Yadav here today, but even yesterday he was doing a lot of public meeting for the Purvanchal people, for the Bihari-speaking people. We see Akhilesh is here. We see Tejashwi Yadav, who is going to the people, appealing for the Trinamool Congress and stating the danger that may come if BJP comes to power. However, the Padyatra that Mamata Banerjee seeks on the last day of campaigning, it is already 5. The time of the campaign being crossed. A lot of the next more 5 kilometers to be crossing. The Padyatra is not sure when to end. By the already ended. The next phase we have entered into is a silent period, but continuing her Padyatra. She started walking, then she joined a bike rally. Now you can see both the sides of the road.
Okay, there is some disturbance in the mic, Ridhita, but we'll stay live with these visuals. Mamata Banerjee trying to reach out to every voter there in this last hour of campaigning, and joining her today is Tejashwi Yadav. Let me go across to our other colleague, Shivam. This is very interesting. Rahul Gandhi hits out at Mamata Banerjee, says she couldn't handle law and order in West Bengal. She gave space to the BJP to grow, and the other constituents are supporting Mamata Banerjee. A clear divide in the INDI.
Well, exactly, Swati, and not just Rahul Gandhi. We have seen Arvind Kejriwal before him today in the morning also came and campaigned for it. Arvind Kejriwal was also there. We have seen how Arvind Kejriwal was also openly putting it that he's having a conversation with Mamata Banerjee, whose convoy is just passing by, just beside us, and you can see again the kind of support that even after 5 p.m. the supporters are still here. You see the huge crowd coming in at this particular point of time. Even after 5 p.m. she's just going back. This is the Bhawanipur constituency, the main constituency which currently is in place, and this is what you are seeing currently. The security deployment heavy on this particular area. We will also try to stay with these visuals because you will see this is the exact road, just almost a kilometer away from her residence as well. And both the sides of the road you will see huge crowd even after 5 p.m. 5 times the freezing time it has happened, but still while she is heading back to her residence, this is time you are actually seeing the crowd emerging. So as you rightly mentioned, because she is basically getting the support of the other INDI bloc members. And remember, she has time and again said that once she is done with BJP in West Bengal, she is eyeing towards the national capital. She is eyeing towards removing the party from the national capital. So, subtly she has basically portrayed herself as the national leader. And after that only you are seeing Rahul Gandhi openly criticizing all the allies which are standing with Mamata Gandhi, and also Mamata Gandhi as well, be it on the stance of corruption, be it on the stance of safety for
Absolutely.
women. Or
Shivam, stay on with us. I want to quickly go across to Abhishek now. Abhishek, ममता बनर्जी ने ये भी कहा था कि राहत तृणमूल तो फिर मिलेंगे, उसके भी बहुत सारे मायने निकाले गए। जमीनी हकीकत क्या आप देख पा रहे हैं? बीजेपी के पास मौका है फेज 2 में भी अपने लिए जगह बनाने का?
देखिए, बिल्कुल आईएनडीआई ब्लॉक के जो तमाम नेता, जैसा कि मेरे सहयोगी रिदिता और जो शिवम जिक्र कर रहे थे, आप भी जिस तरीके से बता रही थी कि लगातार इस चुनाव में सेकंड फेज में विशेष रूप से अगर हम कहें तो कोलकाता में हमें नजर आए थे। अब आप सोचिए कि कल जब हम गृह मंत्री अमित शाह से बात कर रहे थे, उनसे मैंने सवाल किया कि तेजस्वी यादव आ रहे हैं, अरविंद केजरीवाल आ रहे हैं, क्या कहेंगे? एक लाइन का उनका जवाब था, ये दोनों अपने राज्य में चुनाव हार गए हैं। तो बीजेपी नैरेटिव कसने की कोशिश कर रही है कि जितने भी हारे हुए लोग हैं वो कोलकाता में ममता बनर्जी के लिए प्रचार करने के लिए आए हैं, और जो हश्र उनका हुआ है वो बंगाल में ममता बनर्जी का होने वाला है। लोगों की नब्ज की बात जहां तक आपने कही, आप सोचिए कि जो पार्टी पिछले 15 साल से सत्ता में हो, टीएमसी 15 साल से सत्ता में है, और इस बात से इंकार नहीं किया जा सकता कि ममता बनर्जी का अपना एक ग्राउंड है, अपना एक लोकप्रियता है। ममता बनर्जी अगर रोड पे निकलती हैं तो संख्या में लोग निकलते हैं, उनको देखते हैं, सुनते हैं, लेकिन जो उनके पूरे 15 साल का कार्यकाल रहा है, जो उनपे आरोप लगे हैं, जो उनके मंत्रियों पे करप्शन के आरोप लगे हैं, जो क्राइम पश्चिम बंगाल में देखने को मिला है,
को बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर लोग बता रहे हैं। बीजेपी भी 2 सीटों से 77 पर पहुंची, उससे आगे का सफर तय कर पाएगी कि नहीं? Of course, we'll get to know all of that on the 4th of May. Shivam, Ridita, Abhishek and Rajesh, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. बहुत-बहुत शुक्रिया for getting us all the inputs. And with that, we're slipping into a very short break, but we have a lot more lined up for you on the other side. Stay on with us. Welcome back. The US President Donald Trump just days earlier endorsed a racist post against India, likening our country to a hellhole. But viewers, this has sparked massive outrage across the country. Now, Zoho founder and CEO Sridhar Vembu has issued an open letter to Indians based in United States and urged them to consider returning home, saying India's global standing will increasingly depend on its technological strength and ability to retain talent. In a long post on X, Vembu described his own 37-year journey from a student in America to a tech titan in India. He warned that the diaspora there are increasingly caught in a crossfire between political extremes, the hard right and the woke left, where they are viewed as mere bystanders. We have opened our phone lines here on Times Now. We want you to call us and tell us what do you think about this particular appeal that has been made by the Zoho founder. And let's in fact break down the details of what he really said. This is what he is urging. This is Sridhar Vembu, Zoho founder. He says, respect India commands depends on fortunes of India. If India remains poor, woke left will give us moral lectures. Hard right will give us moral lectures with score. And then he mentions the hellhole comment that was made. Please come back home. Bharat Mata needs your talent. So Mr. Vembu is appealing to the Indian diaspora in United States, Indians who make a living in United States, to come back, and also talking about how that is going to strengthen India. Remember, this comes on the back of the endorsement from Donald Trump to an American radio host on social media who likened India to a hellhole. Here's what that post was all about, which was reposted by Donald Trump. This is what they said. This is Mr. Michael Savage, American radio host. Some come here in the 9th month of their pregnancy. A baby born here becomes an instant citizen. And then they bring their entire families from China or India or some other hellhole. That's when the India reference comes in. Our country is called a hellhole. Some want to turn the US into an India-China colony, a post that is then endorsed by Donald Trump. Let me in fact go across to my colleague Priyank, who's getting us more details on it. There are multiple reactions coming in, Priyank, and this has led to a debate where many like Mr. Vembu are appealing people, Indians based in United States, to come back. And then there are others who are saying that they left for a specific reason. What will they get when they come back?
Certainly, Swati, this has raised a major debate among all those people who have their family members in the USA or someone who is presently there. It's nighttime there, and let's see how the social media reaction will be turning out. But the fact of the matter is that 15% of USA's tech support comes from Indian diaspora. There have been around 6 to 7 million people who have been supporting the tech system of USA, and that is the same tech system which has enriched this kind of huge, technical support to the United States, which has led to them claiming that we are so much technically advanced that we can take care of any, any part of the world.
Will be lectured by the right, will be lectured by the woke left. Come back and strengthen India. Priyank, do stay on with us. We've also opened our phone lines. We have our viewers calling us. Mr. Subramanian is joining us from Coimbatore. Please go ahead. Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening. This is Subramanian from Coimbatore. Yeah, it has got two sides of the coin. One is, of course, we need to stop the brain drain and bring the intelligentsia back to India. At the same time, are we in a position to provide them enough motivation, enough facilities, enough remuneration to retain them? That's a question. But definitely the whole statement by Donald Trump is absolutely unwarranted, uncalled for. It should be condemned by everybody. So my suggestion would be we should build the facility infrastructure for the people to come back.
We need more motivation and more facilities and amenities to ensure that this reversal happens. Thank you very much for speaking with us. We have Jay Kishore joining us from Bengaluru. Good evening. Please go ahead. What are your views?
Good evening. This is Jay Kishan from Bengaluru, Kingeri. Okay, this, whatever he is calling is very correct. Fine. But, hello? Hello?
Go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay. But when Indian diaspora comes back, who will give the job? In a country where reservation takes over the merit, what is the point in coming back? And what is that? Donald Trump calling hellhole India is unwarranted. It is a height of idiocy. That is one thing.
Okay, all right.
In a country where reservation is only important, who will give the merit? Who will give the job?
Okay.
Will come back.
Okay, you're saying there are other concerns. While you have to condemn what Donald Trump is saying, there are other concerns when you make such appeals that have to be taken care of. Thank you very much for speaking with us. Our phone lines are open. Our viewers can call us and tell us what do they think about this entire issue and where do they stand. Now remember, this is not the first time that the Americans have belittled India and the contribution of Indians to the world. Let's remind you how America has belittled India in the past with unwarranted commentary. This is what was said, and this is Donald Trump himself. Modi not happy with me, claimed in-house GOP retreat. Then he mocked the COVID data and he said India's COVID numbers are not believable. Also took the tariff king jibe, accused India of high tariffs, especially on Harley-Davidson. Went on to criticize the trade imbalance, repeatedly said US is losing in trade with India. He did not stop just there. Accused India on energy imports, slammed India for buying oil from Iran and then later from Russia. And then you had the advisor of Donald Trump, Mr. Navarro, accusing India of trade manipulation. Not the first time that these remarks have been made. And the latest, of course, is the hellhole remark, which Donald Trump has endorsed, likening India to a hellhole. Now, that's why the Zoho founder is now calling for Indians to return to India, appealing to NRIs to end the brain drain and put the focus on strengthening India and its fortunes. In the United States itself, there is a large Indian diaspora that contributes heavily to their economy, and that's what Vembu says needs to change. So let's take a look at the strength of the Indian diaspora in United States of America. This is the India factor in US, 5.4 million Indian Americans as of 2024. And this is as per the US Census Bureau. 1.47% Indian Americans are part of the US population. 2/3 first-generation immigrants. And this data is coming in from the US Census Bureau. This is the potential that Mr. Vembu is talking about. This is the potential he's trying to tap into when he says that the NRIs need to come back. We have Mr. Bharat joining us from Bengaluru. Thank you very much. Good evening. What are your thoughts?
Hi, good evening. First and foremost, we shouldn't be taking this lunatic's comments too seriously, who's using Twitter like his notebook that he takes to class, because he's commenting with respect to every other country, but not looking at himself, what's happening at his space and time. So whatever said and done with Mr. Wembu's comments, first thing is it's a challenge for India because we need to set up a distinct way where we can bring in people from the US, and we should work towards that. Because instead of going emotionally and speaking things like this, we need to set up a developmental factor where the people back there should want to come back to India than rather than slog for the rest of life living in the US and increasing their economy, if you know what I mean. Yes. And more so importantly, I definitely feel that, Trump's word, I think it's the end of the line for him, and he should stop talking things like such, and he should look into his own country rather than comment on countries who's going to do way better in the coming years.
All right, Bharat, thank you very much for speaking with us, for sharing your perspective with us. Let's move on now. A stunning political-legal showdown is unfolding in Delhi, with Arvind Kejriwal taking an unprecedented stand against the very judge set to hear his case in the Delhi High Court. After his request seeking the recusal of Justice Swarnakanta Sharma was not accepted, the AAP convener escalated the confrontation. Kejriwal has now openly boycotted proceedings, stating that neither he nor his lawyer will appear before the judge. Kejriwal has cited two key reasons for this move. First, he has alleged ideological links between the judge and the RSS. Second, he has raised concerns over a possible conflict of interest, claiming that both her children are empaneled as government lawyers and receive work through Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, who's appearing in the case against him. Listen in.
ये केस जस्टिस स्वर्णकांता शर्मा जी के सामने लगा, तब मेरे मन में एक बहुत बड़ा सवाल उठा, क्या इनके सामने मुझे न्याय मिलेगा? मेरे मन में ये प्रश्न क्यों आया? इसके कई कारण हैं, पर दो कारण मुख्य हैं। पहला कारण ये कि आरएसएस की जिस विचारधारा वाली सरकार ने झूठे आरोप लगा के मुझे जेल डाला, जज साहिबा ने स्वयं माना है कि उस विचारधारा से जुड़े संगठन अखिल भारतीय अधिवक्ता परिषद के मंचों पे वे कई बार जाती रही हैं।
So let's take a look at why Justice Swarnakanta won't recuse. Recusal cannot be based on mere apprehension. This is as per reports. Judge cannot be suspected without material on record. Natural justice applies equally to judges and litigants as well. Allegations against judge must be backed by evidence. Leaders can't weaken institutions with unverified claims because of an adverse earlier order. Litigants can't choose benches as per their preference. So these are the things that are the reason why the judge won't recuse. Litigants can't choose benches as per their preference. Not just that, such requests would flood courts with frivolous pleas. These are the concerns. Fair justice must be delivered to both parties equally. As per reports, these are the reasons why the judge won't recuse. Now, the BJP has launched a sharp attack on Arvind Kejriwal amid the ongoing controversy. BJP has accused Kejriwal of spreading hate and propaganda. The party has also alleged that Kejriwal is insulting both the judiciary and Mahatma Gandhi. BJP says that Kejriwal himself knows he is the culprit in the matter. The Congress has also come out strongly against Kejriwal. Party says that the country does not run on an individual's personal thinking or belief. The Congress has accused Kejriwal of showing disregard for the rule of law and the constitution.
आप ये कैसे तय करेंगे कि कौन कोर्ट जो है हमारे फेवर में है और कौन कोर्ट हमारे फेवर में नहीं है? यानी आप जो है वो कोर्ट्स के जो संवैधानिक प्रतिबद्धता है उस पर ही प्रश्न खड़े कर रहे हैं और आप जो है वो शुरू से एक भूमिका बना रहे हैं कि इस कोर्ट ने हमें जो है वो जो भी तर्क हैं, जो भी तथ्य है उसके आधार पर जो फैसले दिए हैं वो ठीक नहीं। मुझे लगता है ये ठीक नहीं, बेवकूफ़ी है, इससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं।
ये देश जो है ना आपकी मन के बातों से नहीं चलता, आप क्या सोचते हैं उससे नहीं चलता। आप कह रहे हैं कि न्यायालय में नहीं जाएंगे, इसका मतलब आप कानून को नहीं मानते हैं, आप संविधान को नहीं मानते हैं, आप संविधान विरोधी हैं, आप कानून विरोधी हैं। कैसे कह सकते हैं? कानून आपका घर में बनता है, कानून मेरे घर में बनता है। कानून जो है वो है और उसको सबको मानना होगा, चाहे वो प्रधानमंत्री जी हो, चाहे वो गृह मंत्री जी हो, चाहे वो सांसद हो, चाहे वो विधायक हो, चाहे वो मिनिस्टर हो, कोई भी हो, कानून को सबको मानना होगा और न्यायालय को सबको आदर करना चाहिए।
And with that, we're slipping into a very short break. A lot of updates on the other side as well. Stay on with us.